Hi friends, I hope you all are doing really well in your respective lives. Today, I, Kunal Nagpal, would like to welcome you all to this excellent forum that is Economics Enthusiasts Academia. My dear friends, today I am feeling really overwhelmed to discuss the really relevant aspect which is of core significance for the Indian economy. As all of us have been able to witness the COVID scenario and its massive impact on the economy as a whole, that is affecting the various parameters of the overall functioning of an economy, correct? Now, in this prevailing post-COVID scenario, which is existing from quite a number of months, we are again witnessing the upsurge in various parameters of an economy, correct? So, my dear guys, today actually I would like to dedicate this particular session for the discussion of the various incoming of the multinational forums across the globe into the Indian economy. Various international brands are again considering it very apt to actually choose the Indian economy to set up their overall portfolio, that is the overall base. Some companies are coming here to actually diversify their manufacturing operations. Some are approaching India for actually the diversification of their retailing business, or some are actually coming to India for the purpose of engaging the labor, for the basic purpose of outsourcing of the services. So, my dear friends, let's begin with today's discussion, wherein we will be able to analyze that about 24 global brands are likely to set up the shop in India in this particular year. Isn't it a great forecast? And the massive comeback of the Indian economy across the globe. And obviously, India is acting as a lighthouse for the entire global economy. So, my dear friends, about 24 international brands, that is nearly 24 international brands, are expected to enter India with their stores this year, the most in a decade, encouraged by the post-COVID consumption surge as per the property consultants' anticipation. Moreover, the experts said that's up from one global brand in 2020. See, there was the massive falling of the global brand's presence in the Indian economy when the COVID actually began. That is, in 2020, there was only one global brand in the Indian economy, which actually increased further to 3 in 2021 and 11 in the subsequent year, that is 2022. Now, before the pandemic, that is before 2020, about 12 to 15 brands used to enter India every year. Now, my dear friends, isn't it really great? That is, if we analyze the pre-COVID scenario at that particular point of time, nearly 12 to 15 brands used to enter India every year. And what is the current forecast being made for the prevailing year, that is 2023? That is about 24 international brands, that is nearly the 24 international brands are expected to enter India with their stores this year. So this is really the massive comeback, not only the comeback, but actually the great victory if we draw the comparative analysis with the times existing pre-COVID. So, going further, the Italian luxury fashion brand Roberto Cavalli, the British luxury goods brand Dunhill, American sportswear and footwear retailer Foot Locker are actually in talks to enter India, and obviously they are going to establish the overall diversification of their portfolio, of their operations very, very successfully in India, because there are great opportunities for the global firms in the Indian economy. And obviously the statistics are the excellent proof in front of us. Now, going ahead, in addition, the chains such as Lavazza and Armani Cafe of Italy, Jamba of the United States of America, and the Coffee Club from Australia are also likely to enter India this particular year. We expect the food and beverage and a few entertainment brands to establish a presence in the Indian market in 2023, said Anshuman Magazine Chairman and CEO, India, Southeast Asia, Middle East and Africa, CBRE. This particular year, that is 2023, has actually already witnessed several established international brands enter India after a hiatus due to COVID. So, my dear friends, though there was the massive setback in the COVID scenario, but what we are observing as of now, the current statistical analysis actually reveals that this is not only the comeback in the post-COVID scenario, if you draw the comparative analysis with the times that used to exist pre-COVID, but there is actually a gradual jump, a rapid jump in the core statistical figures, hence revealing the accelerated performance in the Indian economic parameters if we specifically consider the presence of the global firms in the Indian economy. That is the analysis of the holistic factors which actually encourage the global firms, or which actually lure the global firms to diversify their overall operations in the Indian economy. Isn't it really great? It is really great. And noting the fact that India is still the developing economy, still it is being preferred as the most preferable destination, the most acceptable destination by the renowned global brands across the globe to actually increase their overall operations, hence increasing their global presence across the various economic markets. Now, my dear friends, as we have seen that more than a dozen international brands including Valentino, McLaren and Balenciaga have debuted in India for the past few months, seeking to take the advantage of the greater demand for the upscale labels since the COVID lockdowns. So we are able to actually glorify our brand name, that is truly incredible India. And obviously this very well demonstrates that Indian economy has been able to very excellently take this particular challenge as the remarkable opportunity, hence making its presence felt across the globe. And this is really proving to be a historical moment across the entire globe. That is how the extraordinary performance of the developing economy, that is India, is really creating the laurels for the well-established brands across the globe. This is really great. Now, my dear friends, others that have come in include Pottery Barn, Pret A Manger, Tim Hortons and Poppius. So, the main brands have been Valentino, McLaren and Balenciaga. And the other brands which are showing their predominant presence in the Indian economy as well are Pottery Barn, Pret A Manger, Tim Hortons and Popeyes. Now, according to the analysis of the CBRE, the retail leasing is actually expected to touch 5.5 to 6 million square feet in 2023, which is actually the highest after the 2019 peak of 6.8 million square feet. Going further, let's explore the presence being felt in the Indian economy of the global brands with regard to the fashion industry. This is going to be very, very interesting analysis. My dear friends, the fashion space is actually seeing the periodic openings of the new brands, particularly in partnership with the larger groups like Reliance and Aditya Birla, said Mr. Pankaj Ranjan, COO, that is the Chief Operating Officer and Joint Managing Director, Anirak Retail. The home interiors retail has actually seen the interest from two large global brands last year, that is West Elm and Pottery Barn, opened up in India, and actually the partnership with Reliance. So this is really the great news. That is the well-established, renowned global brands West Elm and Pottery Barn have actually been able to capitalize in the Indian economy by actually conglomerating or actually engaging in the partnership with the well-renowned industry, which is actually the well-renowned industry in itself, that is Reliance. This is the great empire which has been established by the Ambani family, and it is actually and its strengths are actually helping the Indian economy to show its presence across the globe, and the result is in front of us. That is, the well-renowned global brands West Elm and Pottery Barn have actually opened up in India in partnership with Reliance. So, my dear friends, according to the experts, about 30 to 35 international brands are actually expected to open the shop in India in the 2021 to 23 period. Moreover, Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail Limited recently formed a partnership with the Galleries Lafayette to basically open the luxury department stores and a dedicated e-commerce platform in India. Now, my dear friends, let's try to explore that what all laurels India has been able to create in the overall global economy in a nutshell. So, India calling. The retail leasing likely to touch 5.5 to 6 million square feet in 2023. India is the fifth largest worldwide destination for retail. This is actually worth an applause. Furthermore, the new store openings driven by the post-COVID demand surge. This is actually the highest after the 2019 peak of 6.8 million square feet. That is, if we talk with regards to the retail leasing aspect. Moreover, most brands coming here are actually opting for the large format stores outside metros. So, isn't it actually appealing for all of us? So definitely, this is basically the time to be in India, and this next decade, from a consumer tech perspective, is actually going to be the best we might have seen in the history of retail. That's what we basically discussed at the beginning of this session, that these are basically the creations of the historical moments, not only for the Indian economy, but actually for the global economy. And if we conduct a SWOT analysis of the Indian economy, we would be surprised to know that India has been able to see the opportunities in the most threatening situations also, which is actually proving to be the key ingredient for India to become the lighthouse for the global economy. And This particular insight has actually been given by Mr. Nitin Chopra, the CEO of Ace Total. And it actually holds the licenses to sell the fashion and lifestyle brands such as Lee, Wrangler, Toys R Us, and Rabies R Us in India. Recently partnered with the California lifestyle apparel brand Dockers to enter India. Now, my dear friends, as we have seen that India is actually the fifth largest worldwide destination for retail, the global brands are basically keen on a piece of the action. The spending power of the urban Indian consumers is actually rising. That is actually demonstrating the purchasing power capacity of the normal consumer of India on an average. And furthermore, the branded products in the categories such as apparel, cosmetics, footwear, watches, beverages, cuisine, and even the jewelry are actually progressively becoming popular for the use in business and pleasure. So overall, we basically expect to see a significant number of international brands entering India in the next 2 years. We began our discussion for the anticipation being made for the year 2023, which is actually prevailing as of now. That is, nearly 24 global brands would show their presence by the end of this particular year. Now, if we talk for the next 2 years, that is till 2025, we expect a lot of firms, a lot of international firms to actually enter India. Much, much more than 24 actually. So, going further, if we talk specifically about certain brands which have been able to show their predominant presence in the Indian economy, mostly for the midsection domain, that is the midsection brands. And these are actually Kiabi, Mavi, Ava, Collins, Demat, and Tubda Dairy and Diffie. So, my dear friends, isn't this analysis really great to basically analyze the glorifying presence being made by the Indian economy across various well-renowned economies across the globe, which is actually influencing the incoming of the global brands towards the Indian economy. This is really an excellent parameter to basically judge or analyze the core strengths of the Indian economy, which is actually helping it to thrive itself, to capitalize itself on its core domains. And this is actually an excellent proof for the demonstration of the extraordinary leadership styles being followed by our well-renowned leader, Mr. Narendra Modi ji. That is his overall governance, his Atmanirbhar principles, his overall pedagogy for governing the nation, for actually leading the nation, for actually operating the core parameters of an economy so purely, with so due diligence, that the results which are basically in front of us are actually proving to be an excellent example of such an extraordinary leadership style, and that too in such tough times. In this particular session, we have been able to draw the comparative analysis of the pre-COVID scenario with that of the post-COVID scenario. But my dear friends, the story doesn't end here. We have also been witnessing the major supply chain disruptions across the globe. We have been able to witness the really diversifying, yes, I'm using the word diversifying, the diversifying war of Ukraine and Russia, whose intensity is actually increasing with each passing day, and which actually commenced on 24th February 2022. So, considering all these factors, India's performance is actually above par, much, much above par. So, on this note, I would like to conclude today's session giving you the homework to basically analyze the core strengths of the Indian economy. All of you should actually conduct the SWOT analysis. All of you are well aware of the core strengths and weaknesses of the Indian economy. Weaknesses are actually little less. And we are also aware of the opportunities and threats being presented by the external environment across the globe. So how India is actually capitalizing on its strengths, minimizing the intensity of the weaknesses, hence helping it to actually walk on the path of efficiency and effectiveness, keeping in view the core opportunities and challenges on its way being posed by the external environment, and obviously the excellent way in which India is adopting to convert the challenges into the opportunities. This is really an excellent trait of the charismatic leadership. So that's all, my dear guys. I hope you really had a great time in this lecture. I won't call it a lecture. Actually, this was a very, very insightful session. I'm sure you must have been able to find this session very, very useful for yourselves. Namaskar.